Well, hello everyone. My name is Bryn O'Donnell. I am a social impact program manager with Filecoin Foundation and Filecoin Foundation for the Decentralized Web. And I'm very excited to be here with you today to share with you a bit about the work of the social impact team, especially as it relates to how our project partners are trying to get large data sets onto decentralized storage. And so you've heard a lot today about the Filecoin Foundation. So I thought I'd start off by telling you a bit about the Filecoin Foundation for the Decentralized Web, which I'll refer to as FFDW, so I don't have to keep saying that mouthful. FFDW is the sister organization to the Filecoin Foundation. It is a 501c3 nonprofit whose mission is to ensure the permanent preservation of humanity's most important information. And we do that through stewarding the development of open source software and open protocols for decentralized data storage and retrieval networks. And so in order to fulfill this mission, we partner, fund, and support everything from nonprofits, cultural institutions like galleries, archives, museums, libraries, academics and universities, developers, etc. And the piece of our mission that I wanted to particularly pull out and emphasize for you all today is this piece about preserving humanity's most important information, as that is where our work with large data sets and bringing them onto decentralized storage comes into play. Many of our project partners have applied for data cap through Filecoin Plus, and we envision as we continue to expand our work that many more will do so in the future as well. And so in order to achieve our mission, the social impact team has 3 overarching goals, and we use an ABC framework to communicate this. So A is to accelerate. We are trying to accelerate the adoption of open decentralized technologies. B is build. We're trying to build communities of champions, advocates, and users of these technologies. And finally, C is to communicate the values and benefits of open decentralized technologies. And so how do we achieve those goals? We have 3 primary buckets of work that we do over at FFDW and with the social impact team. The first is research. So we partner with initiatives that are trying to do everything from curate legal and regulatory guidance for the Web3 community. Some of our other project partners are conducting market research to better understand and assess the needs of global audiences as it relates to these technologies. And all of the work we do for this research line of effort is to try to promote the free and publicly accessible nature of these technologies. Our second area of work is education. Decentralized technologies are notoriously difficult to wrap one's head around, but they don't have to be. And so this line of work seeks to raise awareness and communicate the different values and benefits of these technologies, both to policymakers and lawmakers crafting legislation, to the 99% of the public that doesn't yet understand Web3 or aren't as familiar with these technologies. This line of work also seeks to empower young developers or folks seeking to expand their professional skill set by exposing them to Web3 technologies so they can more easily adopt and start contributing to these technologies. And then our last area of work is development. And this is where we really focus on that digital decentralized library of humanity's most important information. We just heard about one of the bottlenecks being a lack of a gallery. And here we are trying to create a library or an archive, all of this information. And in this development portfolio, this is the area that most relates to Filecoin Plus and data cap. And we have 2 primary modes of work. The first is to partner with initiatives that have large data sets in the public interest that are trying to get that onto the decentralized web. And the second component is that we're also partnering with folks that can create interfaces and tools to make it easier for others to upload data in the public interest to decentralized storage and retrieval networks. Storing humanity's most important information. What does that look like in practice? Humanity's most important information probably means something different to each one of us here in this room, to everyone in the overflow room, high overflow room, as well as to everyone tuning in virtually. And so in practice, this has meant many different things for us as well. But we are partnering with initiatives to do the following. Some are working to preserve and authenticate documentation of human rights injustices occurring across the globe by partnering with community-based and community-driven decentralized storage archival initiatives. And much of that data has been stored using DataCap and then stored on the Filecoin ecosystem. Others are working to create industry-specific platforms that make it easier for others to upload data to decentralized storage. And other of our partners are working to steward information into the hands of the public by supporting investigative journalism through projects such as increasing access to and interactivity of primary sources that are hosted on the decentralized web, and then also through creating decentralized platforms for tips and whistleblowers for news agencies. And then, of course, some are working to create the open source decentralized software and apps that are critical to supporting the rest of the work. But one of the exciting pieces is that we're really just getting started with this work and with all the different ways that FFDW's mission might manifest and all the different ways we might store humanity's most important information. But I did want to ground that in a few concrete examples, and these examples are ones done by FFDW's project partners that have leveraged DataCap. So this first one is 78 days, and this is done in partnership with Starling Labs, who is one of FFDW's earliest project partners. And this is an initiative where they partnered with Reuters photographers to capture photographs of the events that happened in between the 2020 US election and the 2021 inauguration, and put those onto the decentralized storage and retrieval networks. And so by doing so, they have made those records transparent, immutable, and have provided an irrefutable record of that time period in US history. Another example, also done with Starling Labs, is called a testimony of genocide. And so they took hundreds of testimonies from genocides around the world, from Holocaust survivors to modern day refugees, and stored that in such a way that it will hopefully be permanently stored, and so we can never forget. And so as FFDW and the social impact team continues to expand our community of project partners and the incredible work that they are doing, I wanted to highlight some specific ways that storage providers might stand out to our project partners if our project partners choose to use Filecoin for their decentralized data storage and retrieval. The first is to collaborate with the Filecoin Green Program, and that is an initiative that is trying to ensure that the entire network is powered through renewable energy and is also giving storage providers a way to publicly showcase their electricity sources. If you're interested in hearing more about that, they have a talk tomorrow, which I'll plug on the next slide. And the other is to offer high-quality retrieval mechanisms, which was also identified as one of the current bottlenecks. And then finally, ensure an ease of use for non-technical partners and clients as a storage provider is the last thing we're looking for. A lot of our project partners, because they are cultural institutions, nonprofits, universities, they aren't very familiar with Web3 or decentralized technologies yet, and so ensuring that they have an easy time using it will make them more prone to do so in the future. And I wanted to end my talk today with highlighting a few different opportunities. So the first I wanted to share with you all is that we have an open request for proposals, or RFP, out right now until June 21st. And so we are soliciting applications from cultural institutions, GLAM, so galleries, libraries, archives, and museums, or universities that have data sets in the public interest that are trying to get them stored, or again, anyone that's interested in creating the interfaces for more easier data upload. We encourage you to submit an application. And then also our email address is right there. As I mentioned earlier in this talk, we're really just getting started with this work. And so if you have ideas, initiatives in mind that might be a good fit, or want to reach out for any other reason, our contact info is there. And then I wanted to plug two talks that are happening tomorrow at Phil Austin. The first is with Starling Labs, who did the two data-capped examples I showed you earlier, and then also Filecoin Green. The talks are happening at the same time, so you'll have to choose wisely. And I think I have time for questions now. One thing I'll mention while Galen maybe scrolls for questions is we've heard a lot today about the importance of KYC, of due diligence, of suspicious clients, et cetera. And FFDW's project partners have gone through like multiple tiers of that due diligence and vetting. So I can assure you they're not suspicious.
Yeah, and I think that's another great example of like what are the ways that other partnering entities like FFDW can come to the notaries and say, here's our audit trail, and work with notaries to then say, like, how in the future can we like meet this, your expectations more clearly and transparently.